everybody. Meredith is back with another Power 15 interview. And this time I have a lovely fresh face to introduce to all of you, Chris Kohatsu. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Kohatsu.
Yes, Kohatsu. Perfect. With Neal Communities. And you're located in Sarasota, right?
Correct. Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah. And so Chris is with me for this particular interview to talk to us about digital marketing, online sales counselors, anything sales and marketing related from her perspective at Neal Communities. So now, how long have you been working there?
So I've been at Neal for just a little bit over 4 years.
Okay, perfect. That's a time. So you've seen a down market, you've seen an up market, and now you've seen a COVID market.
That's a great way to put it, because before coming to Neal, I was at a national home builder, and we started, I worked for them during the down market. And so it was interesting to go from a national to a private home builder. That was, we're located on the west coast of Florida, and the COVID market has been, it's been a fun time.
Right?
It really has been. It's been a time for growth. It's been a time for connection. It's been a time to slow down, and it's been a time to go crazy. So this has been a great year for us.
Yeah, I think that probably, aside from the pandemic itself, which none of us had ever been through or experienced, I think it was such a shock and surprise to all of us that it created the housing surge that it did. I mean, who saw that coming?
Well, I think what's important to recognize out of all of these months, right? Because it's been 8 or 9 months, and what's important to notice is how well do you sit with the uncomfortable? Because there are people that cannot process the uncomfortable. And when you cannot sit with the uncomfortable, you beeline to the quickest option, which may or may not be correct. But when you sit with the uncomfortable, you're able to process, you're able to think, you're able to know what resources you need or what you have. And that's when you begin to innovate. That's when you begin to adjust. That's when you begin to blossom, if you will. And I saw that in our sales team. I saw that in not just us, but other builders around the nation, other businesses around the nation. And it's a difference of reacting and responding. And those who responded to the change, I think, really make the biggest and most impactful difference. When customers show up to our sales center, trust me, they've sat with the uncomfortable, they've thought it through. They are there because this is the best option for them, and we should be ready to serve them.
That's right. You gave me goosebumps when you were just talking about sitting with the uncomfortable. That sounds like something I would say, because that is exactly it. And the question for those of you listening is, as Chris put it, how do you react? Are you willing to process it and sit in it for a hot second and just think, okay, I don't want to react, but I want to respond? Or do you just push it aside and ignore it like nothing's happened, or it's just going to go away? Because I'll be honest, that's what I did in 06, 07. I was in denial. And I didn't respond fast enough to that situation, personally or professionally. And I didn't want to be that this time.
But when you think about who we were in 06, 07, 08, right? We were not at that level of data maturity, business maturity. And I say this speaking from knowing that we have gone through a digital transformation, and we're going through one now. Back in 06, 07, you really saw the two sides of sales and marketing, right? There was a complete divided line. And we're now in 2020, and sales and marketing, they don't just go hand in hand. The line is blurred.
They're the same thing.
It's really, if you think about it, all of the systems that you're using, the CRM, well, it's powered by entries from the sales team. Where's that frontline communication coming from? It's coming from the marketing team. What's powering the intelligence of sales as prospects walk through the door? Marketing. All of it is together. And it's not just that the customer journey begins online and ends at the sales center. The customer journey continues online. And wherever those touch points are, as they learn more about your products, as they make that decision, marketing comes in and provides the resources to all of those touch points so that really everyone is working hand in hand to make that sale a possibility.
To make it smooth as it can be. I mean, it's such a unique product that we deliver to people. It's the only product I can think of that's built outside in in raw conditions. We're not in some factory in a bubble where everything is contained and perfected and the air conditioning is set at certain degrees, right? We have to do all of it come what may. And we have multiple teams of people constructing the project that aren't exactly even all employed by the same company, right? They're all these different. So it's a complex and different product, but yet to the customer, it needs to feel like one big smooth process.
It does. And it starts, that smooth process, that being able to be that transparent about the entire experience really starts with a strong digital foundation. Now, what do I mean by a strong digital foundation? Well, in technology, there is a new app, there's a new platform, there's a new channel every single week, month, quarter, you name it. And it changes all the time. So what you really need to do as a business is to focus on what it is that powers your business. And do you have a strong foundation? And a foundation means no silos. It means integrated data. It means connectivity. It means harmonized business processes so that everyone can work smoothly and that you can scale that, you can be agile, you can be nimble. And when you have that strong foundation, then yes, go out and get the latest trends, the latest technology, as long as it builds on and adds to that foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, now is the time to build it. Now is the time to really say, well, this is what we have, and this is how we're going to connect all the dots so that we're ready for tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. And we can get a little sidetracked or shiny object syndrome, with the latest social media channel or whatever's popular in pop culture or in business. But if whatever it is we're considering doesn't fit in and integrate with the other things we're already doing, boy, you're complicating your life and your work tremendously.
It's so true. I mean, there's no reason why for example, your website data, your Google Analytics needs to sit in one silo where your Facebook Analytics sit in another. And then your traffic data to the sales center sits in another silo. None of that makes any sense. And that is not how you're going to get to the source of what you really want, which is the truth of the matter. So right now, a lot of businesses, not just in our industry, but beyond, are considering what is the single source of truth. And that is something that is going to be considered throughout the next year as we go into another digital transformation. I just feel like digital is such a part of our lives now, and we're talking about the home, a place where almost everyone has a smartphone, has some kind of smart controls, smart appliances. Digital is just going to continue to grow. So as you prepare for a digital transformation, again, break down those walls, integrate that data, harmonize your business process, set yourself up to continue to just expand and grow on a solid foundation.
Is there a particular tool that you like to use to be able to see all of that data in one place, like Google Data Studio, or We use a product sometimes called Dash This. That's a pretty good dashboard type product that feeds in multiple data sources, maybe your CRM. Like, how do you get those things talking to each other?
Well, I think it depends first on what it is you want to do, right? So you want to understand what is the problem you want to solve for. And in marketing, we really wanted all of our data because as marketers, we gather lots and lots of data. We wanted our data to just mix and really blend with each other and harmonize. And the way you do that is, like you said, some of the products that you mentioned, we ended up actually having our own system built. But
Excellent.
you can use, a digital marketing cloud. You can use certain CRM services. But really, if you can solve for the question that you're trying to answer, that's where you're going to find the best products to fit your needs.
One of the things I find is that as marketers, like, we geek out on data, we love our data and our analytics, but we're not as good as identifying the key numbers. I call it like the one-page dashboard that our senior level folks, our leaders, want to see. For them, if you give them pages and pages and pages and pages of data, it kind of gets lost. Like, people, and so as you're listening, sales and marketing leaders, think about how do you distill down to that high level overview of the most important numbers, and then create that access to that across the organization where everybody can see it. Everybody knows what the numbers are and what we're striving towards. And then, of course, anybody who wants more in-depth data, it's there. That can be provided. But
I think the key to that is the word context, right? Any marketing person can pull up pages and
yes,
pages of data, but
yes,
if you don't have context around that data, it doesn't mean anything.
no.
So the context is really what you're trying to solve for in this dashboard problem. So what is it that the entire business needs to be focusing on? Is it the remaining number of inventory we have in stock? Is it the number of sales goals we need to achieve this week, today, this month? That's the context. Those are the questions that you really need to be asking in the data. And this is why marketers and home builders shouldn't be scared of AI, because with AI, you're going to be able to filter data. And you're going to be able to put context around it a lot faster. And that's where marketers and humans can humanize this technology, because we're the ones coming up with the questions. We're the ones thinking of the scenarios. And the AI is just going to get us there faster.
You're so right about the AI. I was admittedly very skeptical of when Facebook, for example, took away a lot of the targeting options for the housing industry. Took away zip codes, took away income, took away quite a number of our targeting options. And I thought, okay, well, that's it for those ads. They aren't going to be very effective. But instead, I decided to give the AI a shot by creating those custom event conversions, creating it so the ads look deeper into the funnel of creating the lookalike audience, all those little techie things. But it turned out that their AI found exactly who the customers were, is at least what we've experienced, better than my manual targeting selections. I can't believe it, but it really did. It's performed well.
And you and so many others, us included, when it comes to change, we tend to get very uncomfortable. We tend to be defiant. We don't like change. But it goes
No.
back to what we were saying earlier. Process that uncomfortable. What was Google, what was Facebook trying to do? They were trying to level the playing field, right? They were trying to bring equality into people and places and profiles that may be overlooked. What were we doing? We were staying with what we knew. We were staying with tactics that we had been using for years, and we weren't growing. And, you know, it may not be comfortable, but like you said, adjusting to the new algorithms, adjusting to the new ways of targeting has opened up new personas, new profiles, new people to talk to. And just like everyone else, you know, Google, Facebook, it doesn't matter which channel or platform you're talking about, they want to present the most relevant and engaging content to the person as
Yes.
much as possible.
Yes.
And if that means it's your business, you're going to fit. It's just
Yes.
that simple.
Yeah, I try to remind our clients of that all the time. Look, everyone will stop Googling things if Google delivers poor search results that are not a match for what you are asking for, either implied or stated. Like, their whole goal is to give you the best set of search results possible. And as long as we allow them to do that and take some comfort in that is their ultimate goal, like you just said, then advertising on that platform or Zillow or any realtor.com or any of these that work off an algorithm, we're going to be successful on those platforms.
And who's to say that Google's marketplace can't become more targeted? So we are in the business of selling homes. Who's to say that they're, you know, Zillow right now, yes, they are the biggest players in the real estate space, as, you know, in terms of digital. Who's to say that Google won't come up with another algorithm that targets and, you know, figures out the right home at the right budget and the right location? It just takes an adjustment. And I love our friends at Zillow and I love our friends at Google, but I'm excited about what they think that they might be rolling out in the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Their whole platform, all of these platforms, they only exist if people use them, and people only use them if they're useful. So that actually leads me to an interesting point about sales and marketing professionals. You know, those of you that are listening in our industry, we're talking about these platforms being useful, but I want you to think about your own usefulness. You know, as a leader in your organization, what are you doing right now to serve that organization so that that organization can serve its customers even better? Because it's the same thing, just like Google and Facebook want to deliver the best search possible results so people keep using it, you have to contribute to your organization as well.
And I love that you said that, because as I look back over 2020, when the shutdown, when the first weeks of the pandemic happened, our sales team dug deep. And I'm talking, they were out there doing Facebook Lives, doing virtual walkthroughs, doing video chats. Our OSCs were FaceTiming and Zooming with people online. And that's the kind of innovation that we need to continue to see. Yes, we're in a hot housing market now, but how are we adjusting to ensure that everyone's needs are met? Because if you've got a lot of sales, and I hope you do, I know we do, you have to be transparent about that. You have to be clear about when you take appointments, when you have a contract appointment, when you have the be-back, how much time each person needs. And you need to be willing to share that information. We're all in a great market position right now. And I think as an industry, we can stand up together and say, realistically, here's the build time. Realistically, here's what you should expect. Realistically, here's what we have available if you need to move now. And I think customers will enjoy that experience so much more than if we underdeliver on their expectations.
They will. And think about it this way. I'm calling it the Home Builder Growth Summit. Several months ago, when I was playing with the name, in my mind at that time, we were kind of growing sales, but sales grew anyway. So now I'm just thinking about all of us growing professionally, personally, and I think the area of growth for most of our organizations is in the customer experience area, in the expectation setting, because that customer experience and expectations are one and the same. If I know what to expect, I will feel served. If I don't know
Absolutely.
what to expect, and it's true, with our relationships with our significant others, when we expect that he or she is going to take out the trash every single week, but we never communicated that expectation, we will be disappointed when that doesn't happen, right?
I think one of the best things to come out of COVID is the use of appointments to visit model homes. That
Oh,
really sets up expectations, and it really tells us,
100%.
yeah, because you can find out exactly what the customer is expecting. If they want a condo, then don't send them to the single family homes. If they want to be budget specific, if they want to grow and expand and go into that move up buyer situation, all of those possibilities. And I think that, not when you have those expectations, that's just the ground level. From there, you can surprise and delight in so many different ways, whether
Yes.
it's a handwritten card welcoming them, or one that you've put in the mail, or whether you've said that I've done my research for you and here are some options for you. There really are so many ways to make the customer experience enjoyable. And I know some of our colleagues are still out there using paper registration cards. There's no reason why someone has to stand. You can bring them into the kitchen where it's a little bit more comfortable around the island. If you're more digitized and you're more advanced, bring your iPad with you, bring your iPhone, have a chat with them before they even come in, and establish that friendship so that no one's time is wasted. If what we've learned through this year is that people love engaging and they love to connect. And the more you do that with them, I can't even tell you, don't send just regular email templates out now. Put in a little video, personalize, customize. All of your follow-up should be done that way too, because the more you do that, the faster you're going to get to the sale. It's just
That's
that
right.
simple.
Yeah. So, thinking that it's end of September that we're recording this, by the time folks hear it, it'll be mid-November-ish, right? And beyond, as they access the content at their convenience. What's a big challenge that in your role that you're facing now, and maybe that you feel like is coming next, or, kind of looking forward?
I think that the what we have to realize that the changes and the adjustments and the responses that we made are not temporary. We're not going back. We're changing, we're evolving, we're becoming different. And what we need to do is recognize that, hey, we had this surge of adrenaline. We've responded. It's all been great, but we're still growing, and we still need to be able to innovate. We need to be able to respond appropriately, and we need to continue to be creative. So looking into the next year, we need to have this resilient attitude that says, come what may, because we already saw the worst. Now we're ready for the best,
Yes.
and we need that
So well
attitude that,
said.
yeah, and we need that attitude that says, okay, and we've got grit, we've got determination, and we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, if we can sell houses like this in a pandemic with a complete economic shutdown, for the love of, I think we're going to be okay. And
I think we're gonna be
right?
okay.
I think we're
And
going to be okay. And we sat in the uncomfortable. So many of you that are listening, you stepped up in unbelievable ways. You mentioned your Neal team did it. I saw it with our clients. I mean, a lot of you, you've never done a Zoom in your life, and you figured it out. And
and
it's been such a pleasure to watch.
it really has been. And don't buy into the, dumpster fire theory, or what a year, or this. Yes, it has been a year, but show me a year where you haven't had challenges, where you haven't had to think critically and creatively. Show me a time, most of us would have to go back to the time we were born. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and even then we were complaining.
Right.
So the truth of the matter is, be bold and be brilliant and pat yourself on the back for adjusting. And honestly, if you haven't adjusted all that well, we're 8-9 months into this. It's time to take off the pajamas, wear real clothes, turn on your camera, and get engaged.
And let's do it. And let's do it. Yeah, I completely agree. And the truth is, it's called life for a reason. It may not be a pandemic, but next year you may find yourself in your personal life facing something. It's not something the whole world is facing, but still, you're right. Every year brings about its challenges, whether it's positive, like you're a new mom, or it's a difficult situation. But all of these things are hard and they require us to move forward. So yeah, it's a great idea. No more yoga pants. Let's put on, let me tell you folks, if you are not wearing real pants at least 2 or 3 times a week, you are going to gain some serious pandemic pudge. I'm just telling you.
Well,
it will happen.
You know what? I decided personally for myself during this pandemic that I would take a page from Steve Jobs. And he believed in the uniform, right? His uniform was the black turtleneck and the jeans. Now, I'm a little bit more colorful than that, but there's some kind of stroke of genius that says if you don't have to think about your clothing, you can think about other things. Yes. So for me, it's been tunic tops and leggings, all right? Yes. Tunic tops and leggings. And they're the most comfortable thing. They look appropriate on camera. But I even wash and fold my outfits together, so I'm not even thinking about what I have to put on. It's just ready to go, and I'm happy, I'm comfortable, and I start my day. And I really believe you start your day winning, you end the day winning.
Right. So those of you that are just listening in, because we're going to give the audio and video versions of these interviews, but you really should watch the video version, because not only is, it's been a pleasure to talk with you and listen to your wisdom, but Chris has a background in journalism. So the way she projects herself on camera, even from the setup of your camera, your lighting, like all the things you're doing there, is definitely one of the best that we've seen doing these interviews. It's not required by any stretch. We're happy to talk to everybody and give everybody a chance to talk regardless. But yes, you do present yourself very well, and that is a level of professionalism that comes across.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Meredith. Thank you so much. I got started, this is going to show my age though, but I got started back when it was called multimedia communications or multimedia journalism. And so I had to learn how to present, cut, edit, produce my own stories. And, we didn't have pose sets. We were the ones setting up our sets. So, being able to take all the lessons that I've learned and build on it, it's again that foundation, and build on it. That's the key. It is. That anyone can apply to.
Well, thank you for sharing your time. Shout out to Angela McKay at ECI Lasso for connecting with us. We love you, Angela.
Our friend, she's in Vancouver, right?
Right.
All the way in Canada.
She is, but she is such a good relationship builder. And so when I reached out and said, I want to find experienced people, but people who voices we haven't heard before. And she was kind enough to connect us. And I am so glad that we've gotten to hear your voice today.
Well, thank you, Meredith. It's an honor to participate, and I'm grateful for this. And it's just so nice to have another connection. I think the home building industry, what we need to remember is that this is the one industry where everyone shares, and they share information willingly and they want to be helpful. We are competitors, yes, but we're also colleagues. So for everyone listening, know that we're part of a very special industry.
It's true. And from the moment I walked in my first Home Builders Association meeting and didn't know anyone until just this past year at the Builders Show, I have seen people help each other, connect, and share like none other. And that's what we're about here at Meredith Communications, and certainly what the Builder Growth Summit is going to be about. So, all right. Well, thank you, Chris. We appreciate you and look forward to getting to know you even more.
Thank you, Meredith.